Chapter 1. The Ashes of Earth. In the lingering shadow of a once vibrant Earth, now a canvas of desolation, orbited the Elysium space station, a relic of human ambition adrift in the cosmos. Alex Wren, a skilled engineer and the protagonist of our tale, called this place home. Confined within its metallic walls, Alex was tethered not just by the artificial gravity that mimicked Earth's embrace, but by the remnants of a world lost to time. The Earth that floated silently below was no longer the cradle of life, its once vibrant blues and greens smothered by the scars of environmental collapse and neglect. Alex's existence on Elysium was a monotonous cycle of repairs and rationing, a daily struggle to maintain the fragile lifeline of the station's aging systems. Life here was about survival, marked by the stark contrast between the void outside and the dimly lit corridors within. Yet, amidst the decay, Alex found solace in the relics of Earth's golden age, books with tattered edges, blueprints of forgotten technologies, and digital archives that whispered tales of a time when humanity looked to the stars with ambition, not despair. One routine day, while sifting through the station's neglected archives, a section filled with the dusty remnants of a bygone era, Alex's life took a pivotal turn. Hidden in a forgotten locker, buried under manuals and obsolete tools, he uncovered a set of blueprints for a quantum drive. This was not just any technology, but the kind that had been lost to the chaos that consumed Earth before the exodus to the stars. The quantum drive, a marvel of theoretical physics turned tangible, represented a beacon of hope, a means to traverse the vast distances of space in search of a new home. Compelled by a deep-seated yearning for a future beyond the confines of the Elysium, Alex shared his monumental discovery with Mia, a seasoned pilot and his closest confidant. Mia, whose spirit remained unbroken by the dreariness that pervaded the station, recognized the potential in Alex's find. Her resolve, tempered by years of navigating the void, saw in the quantum drive a chance for humanity's rebirth, a doorway to worlds unspoiled by human folly. However, hope, especially in a world as accustomed to disappointment as theirs, was a delicate flame easily extinguished by the cold reality of their situation. To embark on a journey powered by the quantum drive, they would need more than just theoretical knowledge and untested plans. They required a vessel capable of withstanding the rigors of interstellar travel, a crew brave enough to face the vast unknown, and a destination that offered more than just survival, a world where humanity could flourish anew. Fueled by a mix of desperation and undying hope, Alex and Mia began the arduous task of turning their dream into reality. They pored over the blueprints, calculated risks, and dared to dream of distant, habitable worlds. Yet, their vision extended beyond mere survival. They envisioned a journey that would reignite the pioneering spirit of humanity, a collective leap into the unknown in search of a second chance. Their first challenge was to garner support from the station's council, a body more concerned with the immediate survival of the station's inhabitants than the distant dreams of exploration and resettlement. Convincing the council would require more than just passion and theoretical plans. It demanded tangible proof that their vision was feasible, that the risk of reaching for new worlds was worth the departure from the fragile safety of the Elysium. As Alex prepared to present his proposal to the council, he understood the gravity of the moment. It was not just his own future that hung in the balance, but the future of all humanity's remnants, adrift among the stars. The task was daunting, the stakes immeasurable, but the promise of a new beginning for humanity, a chance to escape the ashes of Earth, fueled his resolve. Chapter 2. A Spark in the Darkness. The fluorescent lights of the council chamber flickered as Alex stepped forward, a bundle of nerves and determination. He clutched the ancient blueprints like a talisman, their edges worn, a bridge from the past to a hopeful future. The chamber, a relic itself, was filled with the last vestiges of Earth's governance, their faces etched with the same weariness that marked the hull of the Elysium space station. Mia stood by his side, her presence a silent testament to the solidarity between them. She had always been the more daring of the two, her eyes holding a spark that had long been extinguished in others. It was this spark that Alex hoped to ignite in the hearts of the council members. "As you know," Alex began, his voice steadier than he felt, "our situation is dire. We've managed to survive, yes, but at what cost? Earth is beyond recovery, and our resources here are dwindling. Our future, if we remain on this path, is as barren as the world we left behind." He paused, allowing his words to settle, to pierce the veil of resignation that had settled over the room. Then, carefully, he unrolled the blueprints across the council's ancient oak table, a contrast of possibilities against the backdrop of decay. "This," he continued, tapping the diagram of the quantum drive, "represents more than just theoretical technology. It's a chance to find a new home, to rebuild what we've lost. We have the skills, the knowledge. What we need now is the courage to take the next step." Skepticism and curiosity warred on the faces before him. It was Councillor June, a woman whose youth had been spent on the now barren fields of Earth, who first broke the silence. "You're proposing an expedition," she said, her voice a mix of caution and intrigue. "But even assuming this, quantum drive works, where would we go, and with what ship? Our resources are allocated to maintaining life support and essential functions." Alex met her gaze, understanding the weight of her questions. "We retrofit the Orion, the only ship in our fleet that's capable of being modified for interstellar travel. As for our destination, there are habitable exoplanets within reach, according to the archives. Kepler 442b is our best chance. It's similar to Earth in many ways, and with the quantum drive, it's within our reach." The room erupted into whispered conversations, the idea taking root. Mia stepped forward, her voice cutting through the murmurs. "Think of what this means. Not just survival, but a future. We're the last of humanity. If we stay here, that's all we'll ever be, the last. But if we go, we could be the first to start over, to build a better world." The council's deliberation was long, the debate intense. The risks were weighed against the dwindling hope of sustaining life on the space station. In the end, it was the possibility of a new beginning that swayed them. The decision was made. They would attempt the journey to Kepler 442b. As Alex and Mia left the council chamber, the weight of their task dawned on them. They had secured the council's approval, but the real work was just beginning. They needed to assemble a crew, retrofit the Orion, and prepare for the uncertainties of space travel. And they needed to do it all with the resources of a dying space station. But in that moment, there was a palpable shift in the air, a sense of purpose that had been absent for too long. The station, afloat in the shadow of a dead Earth, buzzed with renewed energy. Alex and Mia, once bound by the confines of survival, were now architects of hope. Chapter 3, Echoes of the Past. The first to join, after much persuasion, was Dr. Lena Kovic, a renowned astrobiologist whose life's work had been the study of extraterrestrial ecosystems. Her expertise would be crucial in assessing the habitability of Kepler 442b and in understanding any alien life forms they might encounter. Lena, with her keen intellect and quiet strength, had watched Earth's decline from the confines of her lab, her heart aching for the lost world. The mission offered her a chance not just for redemption, but for fulfillment, a chance to apply her knowledge where it mattered most. Next, they approached Marcus Tan, the station's chief engineer, known for his ingenious solutions to the myriad problems plaguing the aging infrastructure. Marcus had a reputation for being a maverick, often clashing with station administration over resource allocation. Yet, his unparalleled skill in engineering and his deep-seated desire to see humanity thrive again made him an invaluable addition to the crew. Marcus saw in the Orion project a challenge that matched his ambitions and a purpose that could justify his years of frustration. The crew would also need a diplomat, someone capable of navigating the potential complexities of first contact with alien species. For this role, Alex and Mia turned to Tessa Nguyen, a former United Nations negotiator who had dedicated her life to fostering peace in the most tumultuous regions on Earth. Tessa had found herself adrift in the aftermath of Earth's collapse, her skills seemingly obsolete in a world where human conflict had taken a back seat to survival. Yet the prospect of establishing relations with extraterrestrial beings reignited her passion for diplomacy and peacemaking. Finally, to guide them through the psychological challenges of their journey and help maintain the crew's mental health, they recruited Dr. Samir Patel, a clinical psychologist with extensive experience in crisis intervention. Samir had helped many navigate the grief and despair of losing Earth, and his calm demeanor and deep empathy made him the cornerstone of the crew's emotional well-being. As the crew came together, they began the intensive process of preparing for the mission. They pored over the blueprints of the quantum drive, familiarized themselves with the Orion systems, and underwent rigorous training simulations. Each member brought not only their expertise, but their personal stories, their hopes, and their fears. They were not just colleagues, they became a family, united by a common purpose. The chapter closes with the crew gathered in the observation deck, looking out at the stars. The vastness of space stretched before them, both a daunting challenge and a promise of new beginnings. They understood the magnitude of their undertaking, not just the technical feat of reaching Kepler 442b, but the responsibility of carrying forward the legacy of humanity. In their shared silence, there was a palpable sense of connection, not just to each other, but to the countless generations that had looked up at the stars with wonder. They were the culmination of human curiosity, ambition, and resilience. As they turned their gaze back to the preparations at hand, there was a renewed sense of determination. The Orion project was no longer just a desperate bid for survival. It had become a testament to the enduring human spirit, a beacon of hope in the darkness. And as the chapter ends, the crew steps into the final stages of their preparation, ready to face whatever lies ahead together. Chapter 4, Forging the Ark. With the crew assembled, the next phase was to retrofit the Orion, a task that symbolized the transition from planning to action. The Orion, once a symbol of human exploration, had been relegated to a storage bay, a relic of aspirations that humanity could no longer afford. Now, it stood at the heart of humanity's last hope, a vessel that would carry the final heirs of Earth towards a new horizon. Marcus took the lead on the retrofitting process, his expertise as the station's chief engineer proving invaluable. The quantum drive, the core of their mission, required precise integration into the Orion's existing systems. It was technology that none of them had first-hand experience with, relying instead on theoretical knowledge and the ancient blueprints Alex had found. The task was monumental, requiring not just technical skill, but a leap of faith in the unknown. As Marcus worked on the engineering challenges, Lena dedicated herself to preparing the biosustainability systems. Kepler 442b's environment was promising but unknown, and the crew's survival depended on their ability to cultivate food and recycle water and air. Her lab became a microcosm of the future, experimenting with genetically modified crops that could thrive in alien soil and designing ecosystems that could sustain human life. Tessa and Samir focused on the social and psychological preparations. The journey to Kepler 442b would be long and fraught with uncertainty. The confined space of the Orion, coupled with the stress of their mission, could strain even the strongest relationships. Tessa developed protocols for conflict resolution and cultural exchange, anticipating first contact scenarios with alien species. Samir, meanwhile, organized workshops to strengthen the crew's mental resilience, fostering a sense of community and mutual support that would be their shield against the isolation of space. Mia, with her piloting prowess, took on the challenge of mastering the controls of the Orion, now augmented with the quantum drive. Theoretical knowledge of quantum physics collided with the practical demands of navigation, requiring Mia to push the boundaries of her skills. She spent countless hours in the simulator preparing for every conceivable scenario, from asteroid fields to the gravitational pull of unseen cosmic entities. Alex oversaw the entire retrofitting process, coordinating efforts and ensuring that every system, from life support to propulsion, was optimized for their mission. His leadership was a balancing act, melding the diverse talents and personalities of his crew into a cohesive unit. Under his guidance, the Orion transformed from a forgotten relic into a beacon of hope, a testament to human ingenuity and determination. As the retrofitting neared completion, the reality of their departure set in. The station buzzed with activity, a mixture of excitement and apprehension. The crew's families and friends, along with the remaining population of the space station, gathered to witness the final preparations. It was a moment of collective pride and sorrow as they confronted the possibility of never seeing their loved ones again. The chapter culminates in a ceremonial ignition of the quantum drive within the hangar, a test that would mark the final countdown to their departure. The crew, along with the station's inhabitants, watched with bated breath as Marcus initiated the sequence. The drive hummed to life, its glow a tangible promise of the journey to come. It was a success, met with cheers and tears, a moment of triumph in the face of the unknown. As the celebration subsided, the crew gathered for a private moment aboard the Orion. They looked out at the stars, their destination no longer a distant dream, but an imminent reality. They had each other, and they had a purpose. The Orion, once a vessel of exploration, had become their ark, a sanctuary carrying the hopes of humanity. Chapter 5. The Leap into the Void. The Orion, now detached from the Elysium space station, embarked on its journey through the void. The vast expanse of space stretched out before them, an infinite canvas of stars and darkness. Inside the ship, the crew gathered in the cockpit, their eyes fixed on the viewscreen as they prepared for the first activation of the quantum drive in open space, a moment that would mark humanity's first leap towards a new home. Mia sat at the helm, her hands steady on the controls, her focus absolute. The quantum drive's activation sequence was complex, a symphony of quantum mechanics and engineering that demanded precision. Beside her, Alex monitored the ship's systems, his voice calm as he relayed instructions to the rest of the crew. Marcus was in the engine room, ready to adjust the quantum drive on a moment's notice, while Lena and Tessa stood by, their roles momentarily paused as they bore witness to this historic moment. Quantum drive activation in T-minus 10 seconds, Mia announced, her voice echoing through the ship. Samir, serving as the emotional anchor for the crew, placed a hand on Lena's shoulder, offering a reassuring smile. Despite their preparations, the tension was palpable, a collective breath held between moments of destiny. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Activation. Mia engaged the drive. A brilliant light enveloped the Orion, a visual symphony of energy that danced across the fabric of space-time. Then, with a sensation that defied the laws of physics as they knew them, the Orion lurched forward, propelled by forces that humanity had only begun to comprehend. The initial disorientation was overwhelming, a sensory contradiction of motion without movement, of hurtling through the cosmos while standing still. It was Samir who first found his voice, reminding the crew to breathe, to focus on the horizon they sought rather than the abyss they traversed. As the Orion stabilized, the crew adjusted to the sensation of quantum travel. The stars outside their view screens stretched into lines of light, the universe itself seeming to warp and bend around them. It was a sight of unparalleled beauty, a stark contrast to the desolation they had left behind. The first few hours of their journey were spent in rigorous checks and observations. Lena catalogued the ship's environmental systems, ensuring that their life support was functioning within optimal parameters. Marcus, from the engine room, reported that the quantum drive was performing beyond expectations, its energy signature steady and strong. Tessa took the time to initiate a series of discussions about the protocols for first contact, should they encounter intelligent life. Her sessions, held in the common area, became a space for the crew to share their hopes and apprehensions about what lay ahead. These conversations, guided by Tessa's diplomatic expertise, helped to fortify the crew's unity and purpose. Days turned into weeks, and the Orion continued its journey through the void. The crew settled into a routine, their lives governed by the cycles of work, rest, and the shared meals that became their grounding moments. Marcus and Alex, often found tinkering with the ship's systems, pushed the boundaries of their technological marvel. Mia and Lena, when not engaged in their respective duties, spent hours mapping their route, studying the star charts and data on Kepler 442b. It was during one of these mapping sessions that the Orion encountered its first unforeseen challenge, a rogue asteroid field that had not been charted. The field lay directly in their path, a maze of tumbling rocks that threatened to end their journey before it truly began. Mia's skills were put to the test as she navigated the Orion through the field, her movements precise and calculated. The crew held their collective breath, trusting in Mia's expertise, in the strength of their ship, and in the bond that had formed among them. With each successful maneuver, the Orion danced between the asteroids, a testament to human resilience and the refusal to be deterred from their path. As they cleared the asteroid field, the crew gathered once more in the cockpit, their relief palpable. They shared looks of gratitude and pride, knowing that this was but the first of many challenges they would face together. Chapter 6. Beneath Alien Skies. The Orion's journey through the cosmos was a testament to human ingenuity and determination. After months of travel, marked by moments of awe and trials of resilience, the ship finally approached its destination, Kepler 442b. The planet, a vibrant speck in the vastness of space, grew larger and more defined on the view screen, its blue oceans and green landmasses a beacon of hope to the weary travelers. As they entered the planet's orbit, the crew's anticipation reached its zenith. Lena, with her eyes glued to the sensor readings, reported the planet's composition and atmosphere, confirmable as habitable and eerily similar to Earth's own before its fall. The realization that they were about to set foot on a world that could become humanity's new home was overwhelming. Mia skillfully maneuvered the Orion into a lower orbit, preparing for descent. The ship shuddered gently as it touched the outer layers of the atmosphere, the heat shields glowing with the friction of entry. Inside, the crew was silent, each lost in their thoughts as they faced the culmination of their journey. The landing was smooth, a testament to Mia's piloting and the ship's design. As the engines powered down, a hush fell over the crew, the silence marking the end of one journey and the beginning of another. They were no longer travelers, they were pioneers on the threshold of a new world. The first to disembark were Alex and Lena, suited up for exploration, their steps cautious but filled with purpose. The airlock opened, revealing the alien landscape of Kepler 442b. The air, filtered through their helmets, was fresh, a stark contrast to the recycled atmosphere they had grown accustomed to. Before them lay a verdant forest, its flora similar yet distinctly different from Earth's, with towering trees and vibrant, unknown flowers that stretched towards the horizon. Lena was the first to remove her helmet, taking a leap of faith in the readings they had trusted. The air was breathable, a mix of familiar and alien that filled her lungs with the first breath of freedom they had experienced in what felt like lifetimes. Alex followed suit, a symbolic gesture that marked their claim to this new home. The exploration of Kepler 442b was methodical, driven by Lena's scientific curiosity and Alex's practical assessments of their immediate surroundings. They collected samples, documented the wildlife, and mapped the area around their landing site. The planet was more than habitable. It was alive, teeming with ecosystems that hinted at the planet's complex biosphere. Marcus and Samir joined them, setting up the initial camp and beginning the long process of terraforming and habitat construction. The technology they had brought from Earth, combined with the resources of Kepler 442b, allowed them to establish a foothold with surprising efficiency. Their new home began to take shape, a blend of alien nature and human technology. Tessa, however, was drawn to the remnants of what appeared to be structures not far from their camp. These ruins suggested that Kepler 442b had once been home to an intelligent species. The discovery was profound, raising questions about the planet's history and the fate of its previous inhabitants. Tessa documented the site, her mind racing with the possibilities of what they could learn from these alien predecessors. As days turned into weeks, the crew adapted to their new environment. The challenges were many, from understanding the native flora and fauna to ensuring the sustainability of their food and water supplies. Yet, with each challenge overcome, their small colony grew stronger, a beacon of hope on this distant world. Chapter 7. Seeds of a New World. The dawn of humanity's first year on Kepler 442b brought with it a sense of accomplishment and a sobering understanding of the challenges ahead. The initial euphoria of survival had given way to the realities of establishing a permanent foothold on an alien planet. Yet, under the guidance of Alex, Mia, Lena, Marcus, Tessa, and Samir, the small colony thrived, each day a step closer to self-sufficiency. Lena's botanical experiments, a blend of Earth's crops genetically modified to thrive in the alien soil, began to yield fruit. The greenhouses, a complex of glass and steel, stood as a testament to human ingenuity, their interiors a patchwork of green against the backdrop of an alien world. These crops were more than food. They were a symbol of humanity's ability to adapt and flourish. Marcus, with his engineering prowess, spearheaded the construction of the colony's infrastructure, water filtration systems utilizing the planet's abundant freshwater sources, renewable energy farms capturing the sun's rays, and the development of a rudimentary communication network all bore the mark of his dedication and skill. The colony, named New Eden by the crew, began to resemble a burgeoning settlement, a fusion of futuristic technology and the raw, untamed beauty of Kepler 442b. Tessa's role evolved with the discovery of the alien ruins. The remnants of the planet's previous civilization offered not just historical insights, but a cautionary tale. Through careful study, Tessa pieced together a narrative of a society that had reached great heights but had fallen to environmental cataclysm. This discovery reinforced the importance of sustainability and respect for their new home's delicate balance. Tessa organized discussions and workshops within the colony, fostering a culture of environmental stewardship and communal responsibility. Samir's contributions were less tangible, but no less vital. The psychological adjustment to life on an alien world, isolated from Earth and the remnants of human civilization, posed significant challenges. Through individual counseling and community-building activities, Samir nurtured a sense of belonging and purpose among the colonists. His efforts ensured that New Eden was not just a place of survival, but a community of hope, where each individual's well-being was integral to the colony's success. Mia's exploration team, utilizing the modified rovers, charted the surrounding landscapes, identifying resources and potential dangers. Their maps became the foundation of New Eden's expansion plans, outlining a future where humanity could spread across the planet. Mia's leadership during these expeditions was characterized by her unyielding optimism and her commitment to the safety and success of her team. As the colony grew, so did its challenges. A particularly harsh winter tested their resilience, damaging crops and infrastructure. Yet the adversity served to strengthen the community's resolve. The colonists rallied, repairing and reinforcing their settlement, their efforts a collective triumph over the elements. The chapter closes on the anniversary of their arrival, a day declared a colony-wide celebration. Gathered around a communal fire, the crew and colonists shared stories of Earth, of the journey that had brought them to Kepler 442b, and of their dreams for the future. It was a moment of reflection and reaffirmation, a recognition of their accomplishments and the road ahead. Under the twin moons of Kepler 442b, with the night sky alight with stars, New Eden stood as a beacon of humanity's enduring spirit. Their story was one of loss and discovery, of endings and new beginnings. On this alien world, they had found a second chance, not just to survive, but to build a legacy that would endure for generations to come. Chapter 8: Shadows and Allies. The crew, led by Tessa's diplomatic acumen, prepared for the first encounter. The Zelarians emerged from their vessel, their forms humanoid but distinctly alien, with translucent skin that shimmered in the sunlight and eyes that reflected the depth of the cosmos. They communicated through a series of harmonious sounds, which, to the astonishment of the humans, were translated by a device that Marcus quickly cobbled together. The Zelarians explained that they were explorers, part of a civilization that spanned several star systems, guardians of peace and knowledge in their sector of the galaxy. They had observed the humans since their arrival, intrigued by their resilience and potential. The meeting was a pivotal moment for New Eden, the beginning of a relationship that would shape the future of humanity's presence on Kepler 442b. With the Zelarians' guidance, the colonists began to understand the planet in ways they had never before imagined. The alien ruins that dotted the landscape were remnants of a civilization the Zelarians had once guided, a society that had fallen prey to internal strife and ecological neglect. This revelation served as a stark reminder of Earth's fate, reinforcing the importance of the principles Tessa had instilled within the community. The Zelarians shared technology that accelerated the colony's development, from advanced energy systems to agricultural techniques that doubled their food production. They taught the humans about the planet's delicate ecosystems, revealing the interconnectedness of life on Kepler 442b and the importance of maintaining its balance. Lena found in the Zelarians kindred spirits, their knowledge of the biosphere offering insights into her own work and opening new avenues of research. Marcus, too, benefited from their technology, using it to enhance the colony's infrastructure, making it more sustainable and efficient. However, the most profound impact was on the colony's youngest members. The Zelarians, with their gentle demeanor and vast knowledge, became teachers, sharing their understanding of the universe with a generation that had never known Earth. This exchange of knowledge and culture fostered a sense of galactic citizenship among the colonists, a realization that they were part of a larger community of sentient beings. Yet this period of growth and discovery was not without its challenges. The Zelarians, for all their advancements, warned of other species not as benevolent, of the complexities of interstellar politics and the dangers that lay beyond the protective shadow of Kepler 442b. This revelation brought a new dimension to the colony's existence, the understanding that their struggle for survival had expanded from the planetary to the cosmic. The chapter closes with a celebration, a feast that brought together humans and Zelarians under the stars of Kepler 442b. It was a moment of unity, of shared hopes and dreams, a tangible manifestation of the bridge between worlds that New Eden had become. The firelight danced in the eyes of those gathered human and Zelarian alike, a reflection of the shared light of their spirits, burning brightly in the vastness of space. As the night deepened, Alex stood apart, looking up at the stars. The weight of leadership, of the choices that lay ahead, pressed upon him. The arrival of the Zelarians had opened a new chapter for humanity, one filled with promise, but fraught with new dangers. Yet, as he turned back to the celebration, to the faces of his crew and the colonists, their laughter and joy a balm to his soul, he knew that whatever challenges they faced, they would face them together. Chapter 9. Legacy of the Lost. The newfound alliance with the Zelarians propelled New Eden into a golden age of expansion and understanding. However, the wisdom shared by their alien friends bore with it a cautionary tale that resonated deeply with the humans, the history of the planet's previous inhabitants, a civilization that had once flourished on Kepler 442b, only to vanish in the face of ecological disaster and societal collapse. This revelation became the focus of Chapter 9, where the crew, especially Tessa and Lena, delved deeper into the archaeological sites with the help of the Zelarians. Their aim was not just to uncover the history of this lost civilization, but to learn from its demise. The ruins, scattered across a continent that the colonists had begun to explore more thoroughly, offered silent testimony to a culture that had achieved great technological advances, mirroring Earth's own trajectory before its fall. As the excavation progressed, they discovered data archives preserved in crystalline structures that the Zelarians helped to access. These archives contained the collective knowledge of the planet's former inhabitants, including their art, science, and the critical errors that led to their downfall. The parallels to Earth were uncanny, serving as a somber reminder of the fragility of civilization and the peril of neglecting the environment that sustains it. Meanwhile, Marcus and the engineering team worked closely with the Zelarians to integrate the advanced technology into New Eden's infrastructure, ensuring that their growth was sustainable. Innovations in energy consumption, waste management, and food production were implemented, transforming the colony into a model of ecological harmony. Samir found the stories of the lost civilization a powerful tool in his work, using them to foster a sense of responsibility and community among the colonists. The psychological impact of living on a world that had witnessed such loss was profound, and Samir's guidance helped the colonists navigate their complex emotions, turning potential despair into a collective determination to succeed where the planet's previous inhabitants had failed. The most significant change, however, occurred in the colony's educational curriculum, spearheaded by Mia. The history of Kepler 442b's lost civilization, along with the Zelarians' teachings, became central themes, instilling in the young a deep respect for their new home and an understanding of their place within a larger cosmic community. These lessons, rich with the knowledge of two civilizations, one extinct and one thriving, aimed to prepare the next generation of colonists to navigate the complexities of interstellar existence. As the year progressed, New Eden celebrated its achievements with a festival that honored both their earthly heritage and their future among the stars. The event was marked by the unveiling of a monument, a collaboration between human and Zelarian artists, commemorating the lost civilization of Kepler 442b. It stood as a symbol of hope and a warning, a promise of what could be achieved and a reminder of what could be lost. The chapter closes with Alex reflecting on the journey of New Eden, from a desperate bid for survival to a thriving colony that stood as a beacon of interstellar cooperation and ecological stewardship. The legacy of the lost civilization, rather than a shadow of failure, had become a source of inspiration, guiding New Eden towards a future where humanity could thrive without repeating the mistakes of the past. Under the twin moons, with the Zelarians by their side, the people of New Eden looked forward to a future filled with promise, their eyes wide open to the lessons of history and their hearts committed to forging a legacy that would endure for generations to come. In the verdant glow of Kepler 442b's morning, the colony of New Eden stood on the cusp of a new era. Chapter 10 unfolds as a reflective journey through the achievements and challenges faced by the crew of the Orion and the settlers of New Eden, culminating in a vision for the future that extends beyond their lifetimes. Alex, standing atop a hill overlooking the colony, watched the sunrise, its rays illuminating the thriving settlement that had grown from their initial encampment. The structures, a blend of human design and Zelarian technology, shimmered against the backdrop of an alien landscape, a testament to the cooperative spirit that had fueled their survival and prosperity. Below, the sounds of the colony awakening carried on the morning breeze, an orchestra of human activity and technological harmony that marked the rhythm of daily life. The air was filled with the laughter of children, the descendants of the original settlers who knew no home but Kepler 442b. These children, taught by the combined knowledge of humanity and the Zelarians, were the first of a new generation, heirs to a legacy of resilience and hope. The narrative then shifts to a gathering in the colony's central square, where the crew and the settlers came together to commemorate their journey and to cast their gaze forward. Mia, with her ever-present optimism, spoke first, her words a reminder of the courage it had taken to leave Earth behind and embrace the unknown. Lena shared insights from their continued study of the planet's ecosystems, emphasizing the balance they had achieved in making Kepler 442b their home. The collaboration with the Zelarians had not only ensured their survival, but had enriched their understanding of what it meant to live in harmony with their environment. Marcus unveiled the latest advancements in their infrastructure, including a new energy grid that harnessed the planet's natural resources without harm, and a transportation network that connected the expanding settlements of New Eden. His presentation was a reflection of the technological strides they had made, driven by necessity and guided by the principle of sustainability. Tessa spoke of the diplomatic relations established with the Zelarians and other species they had encountered through the interstellar network. New Eden had become a beacon of cooperation and peace, a model for interspecies relations, and a hub for cultural exchange. Samir addressed the community's well-being, highlighting the social and psychological frameworks they had built to support one another. He introduced initiatives designed to foster creativity, innovation, and personal growth, ensuring that the spirit of exploration and discovery remained at the heart of New Eden's culture. As the speeches concluded, the community's attention turned to the unveiling of a time capsule intended to be opened by future generations. Into this capsule, they placed records of Earth's history, the journey of the Orion, the founding of New Eden, and the lessons learned from the Zelarians and the lost civilization. It was a message of hope, a gift of knowledge to those who would one day inherit the legacy of the colony. The chapter closes with the settlers and the crew, joined by their Zelarian allies, planting a grove of trees native to Kepler 442b, each tree representing a year since their arrival. This living monument was to grow alongside New Eden, a symbol of their enduring commitment to their new home and to each other. As night fell, the community gathered to observe the stars, reminded of their place in the vast tapestry of the cosmos. They were no longer just survivors of a lost Earth, but pioneers of a new world, guardians of a legacy that bridged species, worlds, and generations. Under the twin moons of Kepler 442b, with the galaxy stretching out before them, the people of New Eden faced the future with determination and hope. They were the dawn of a new era, the heirs to a planet reborn from the ashes of the past, ready to forge a destiny that would echo through the ages.